something unusual is happening in your life, and deep down you can feel it. This is not a repetition of the past, not another ordinary season, but a moment set apart with divine intention. God is moving in a way you've never seen before, preparing something uniquely designed for you. Every delay, every closed door, every silent battle has been aligning for this very shift. What you're about to witness will break patterns, redefine your faith, and reveal a level of purpose you didn't know you carried. This is personal, intentional, and unlike anything that has come before. There are moments in life when everything begins to shift in ways you cannot explain, and this is one of those moments. God is not repeating what He has done before in your life. He is initiating something entirely new, something that does not follow the patterns you have grown familiar with. In the past, you may have seen Him move in certain ways, opening doors step by step, answering prayers in expected timing, guiding you through recognizable paths, but now, the way He is working will feel different. It may even feel unfamiliar or uncomfortable at first, because it doesn't align with your previous experiences or expectations. This new move is intentional. It is designed to take you beyond the limits of what you thought was possible. When God breaks patterns, it is often because He is expanding your capacity, stretching your faith so that you no longer rely on what you have seen before, but instead learn to trust Him in a deeper, more personal way. You might find yourself in situations where your usual strategies no longer work, where your understanding feels insufficient, and where your only option is to depend fully on Him. This is not a setback, it is a setup for something greater. What makes this moment significant is that it is tailored specifically for you. God is not working from a general blueprint, He is working from a divine design that fits your calling, your purpose, and your future. That means the way He moves in your life may not look like how He moves in someone else's. Comparison will only create confusion in this season. Instead, you are being invited to recognize that this is personal. Every detail, even the ones you don't yet understand, is part of a bigger picture being formed just for you. You may also notice that things are happening faster or more unexpectedly than before, or in some cases, slower in ways that test your patience. Both are signs that God is not bound by the patterns you once relied on. He is rewriting the rhythm of your life to align with His purpose rather than your expectations. This can feel unsettling, but it is also a sign that you are stepping into a new dimension of faith where trust replaces certainty. This new move requires you to let go of the need to control outcomes or predict what comes next. It calls you to listen more closely, to be more aware of His presence, and to follow even when the path is not fully clear. The unfamiliarity is not meant to discourage you, it is meant to draw you closer to Him. In this place, you are not guided by past experiences, but by present connection. What is unfolding is not random. It is deliberate, precise, and filled with purpose. Even when it feels uncertain, it is leading you towards something that could not be achieved through old patterns or familiar methods. What is unfolding is not random. It is deliberate, precise, and filled with purpose. Even when it feels uncertain, it is leading you towards something that could not be achieved through old patterns or familiar methods. And this is where you begin to understand that your previous struggles were never meant to break you, they were shaping you for this exact moment. Every hardship you faced carried a hidden assignment. The delays that frustrated you, the disappointments that made you question everything, the silent seasons where it felt like nothing was moving, none of it was wasted. What felt like resistance was actually preparation. God was building something within you that could not be formed in comfort. Strength, endurance, discernment, and deeper faith are not developed when everything is easy. They are forged in moments when you have no choice but to keep going despite uncertainty. You may have wondered why certain doors didn't open when you expected them to, or why certain opportunities slipped away just when you thought they were yours. At the time, it may have felt like loss or even punishment. But now, as you begin to step into this new season, you can start to see that those moments were protecting you from stepping into something that wasn't aligned with your true purpose. God was not withholding from you, He was refining you. There were lessons hidden in every challenge. You learned how to stand when things felt unstable, You learned how to trust even when you didn't have answers. You learned how to keep your faith alive in silence. These lessons were not random, they were necessary. Without them, you wouldn't be ready to handle what is coming next. What God is preparing to place in your life requires a version of you that has been tested and strengthened. It's important to understand that preparation often looks like struggle while you're in it. It doesn't feel meaningful in the moment. It feels heavy, confusing, and sometimes unfair. But preparation is rarely comfortable because it is designed to transform you. God was not focused on your temporary comfort, He was focused on your long-term calling. He was shaping your character so that when the opportunity arrives, you will not only receive it, but sustain it. Now, as things begin to shift, you are not stepping forward as the same person who once struggled. You are carrying the weight of everything you've been through, but instead of it holding you back, it is now supporting you. The patience you developed, the resilience you built, and the faith you held onto are becoming the very tools that will help you walk into what God has prepared. Nothing you went through was meaningless. Every tear, every delay, every moment of doubt had a purpose. And now, you are beginning to see that what once felt like punishment was actually positioning you for something far greater than you could have imagined. Nothing you went through was meaningless. Every tear, every delay, every moment of doubt had a purpose. And now, you are beginning to see that what once felt like punishment was actually positioning you for something far greater than you could have imagined. This is where your understanding begins to deepen, because you start to recognize that the doors that remained closed were not signs of rejection, but acts of divine protection and redirection. There were opportunities you prayed for, paths you were ready to walk, and situations you believed were right for you. When those doors didn't open, it may have felt confusing, even painful. You might have questioned your worth, your timing, or even your faith. But what you couldn't see in that moment was what existed behind those closed doors. God, in His wisdom, was guarding you from outcomes that would have pulled you away from your true purpose, or placed you in situations you were not meant to endure. Closed doors are not always about denial. Often, they are about direction. When God prevents something from happening, it is because He sees beyond what you can see. He understands the full picture, the consequences, the hidden challenges, the misalignments that would have eventually caused harm or distraction. While you were focused on what you wanted in the moment, He was focused on where you are ultimately meant to be. In many cases, what looks like a missed opportunity is actually a preserved destiny. You were being kept from settling into something that looked good, but wasn't right. You were being redirected away from paths that could have delayed your growth or diluted your calling. Even though it didn't make sense at the time, those closed doors were creating space for something better, something more aligned, more purposeful, and more impactful. This kind of protection doesn't always feel comforting when you're experiencing it. It can feel like silence, like stillness, like nothing is moving. But in reality, God is actively working behind the scenes, arranging circumstances, aligning the right people, and preparing the right opportunities. Just because a door is closed doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means something is being preserved. As you move forward into this new season, you may begin to notice how certain things that once didn't work out now make sense. You may see how being redirected led you to places you would have never discovered on your own. You may realize that what you once fought for would not have fulfilled you in the way you imagined. This clarity is part of the revelation that comes when you trust that God's decisions are not based on denial, but on design. The key in this season is to release any lingering frustration or disappointment over what didn't happen. Holding on to past expectations can make it harder to embrace what is now being opened to you. Trust that every closed door served a purpose, even if that purpose wasn't immediately visible. You are not being held back, you are being guided forward in a way that is intentional and precise. What is ahead of you is not a replacement for what you lost, it is an upgrade aligned with who you are becoming. And the same God who closed those doors is the one who is now preparing to open the right ones at the right time. What is ahead of you is not a replacement for what you lost, it is an upgrade aligned with who you are becoming. And the same God who closed those doors is the one who is now preparing to open the right ones at the right time. As those doors begin to open, you will realize that stepping into this new season will require something deeper from you than before: a greater level of faith and a sharper sensitivity to God's voice. In the past, you may have relied on what was familiar. You could recognize patterns, understand the timing, and feel a certain level of control because you had seen similar situations before. But in this season, that familiarity will not be your guide. God is calling you into a place where you cannot depend on past experiences alone. Instead, you will need to stay closely connected to Him, listening carefully and responding with obedience even when things are not fully clear. This deeper faith is not just about believing when things make sense, it is about trusting even when they don't. You may find yourself being led in directions that challenge your logic or stretch your comfort zone. There will be moments when the next step isn't obvious, when you don't have all the answers, and when you feel the tension between what you understand and what you are being called to do. In those moments, your faith becomes active. It becomes a decision to move forward, not because you see the whole path, but because you trust the one who is leading you. Sensitivity to God's voice becomes essential in a season like this. With new opportunities, new directions, and new challenges, there will also be many distractions. Not every open door is meant for you, and not every opportunity aligns with your purpose. This is why discernment matters. You will need to pause, listen, and seek clarity before making decisions. God's guidance may not always come in loud or obvious ways. Sometimes it is a quiet conviction, a gentle nudge, or a sense of peace that confirms you are on the right path. This requires you to slow down internally, even if life around you begins to move quickly. It means creating space to reflect, to pray, and to remain grounded so that you can recognize His direction. When you are sensitive to His voice, you won't be easily swayed by pressure, fear, or urgency. Instead, you will move with confidence, knowing that each step is aligned with something greater than your own understanding. There may also be moments where obedience feels uncomfortable. You might be asked to let go of something familiar, to step into something unknown, or to trust in ways you haven't before. This is where your growth becomes evident. Faith is not just something you feel, it is something you live out through your actions. Each step of obedience strengthens your connection with God and deepens your trust in His plan. As this season unfolds, you are being invited into a closer relationship with Him than you have experienced before. Not based on routine, not based on habit, but based on real, active trust. This is where clarity will come, not all at once, but step by step as you continue to listen, trust, and follow. As this season unfolds, you are being invited into a closer relationship with Him than you have experienced before. Not based on routine, not based on habit, but based on real, active trust. This is where clarity will come, not all at once, but step by step as you continue to listen, trust, and follow. And as you walk in that trust, you will begin to realize that what is coming into your life is not random or ordinary, but uniquely designed for your calling and your purpose. There is something specific being prepared that matches who you are becoming. It is not a general blessing or a one-size-fits-all opportunity. It is detailed, intentional, and aligned with your journey, your experiences, and even the struggles you have overcome. You are about to step into will make use of parts of your life that once felt disconnected or even painful. Things you thought were setbacks will suddenly have meaning because they will connect directly to where you are being placed. This is why your path has looked different from others. There were moments when you may have compared your progress, wondering why your journey seemed slower, more complicated, or less predictable. But the truth is, your process had to be different because your assignment is different. God was not shaping you for something ordinary, He was preparing you for something that required precision. Every delay added something to you. Every challenge refined something within you. Now, all of it is coming together in a way that only He could design. What is ahead will not only fit your abilities, but it will also stretch you into new levels of growth. It will require you to use your gifts in ways you haven't before, to step into responsibilities you once felt unprepared for, and to embrace opportunities that align deeply with your purpose. There will be a sense of recognition when it arrives, not because it is easy, but because it resonates with something within you. You will know that this is not something you forced or created on your own, but something that was prepared and positioned for you at the right time. At the same time, this uniqueness means that you cannot measure your journey by anyone else's standards. What is meant for you will not look exactly like what is meant for someone else. Trying to compare or imitate another path will only distract you from what has been designed specifically for you. This is a season of alignment, where you fully embrace who you are and where you are being led without needing external validation. There is also a responsibility that comes with something designed specifically for you. It is not just about receiving it, it is about stewarding it well. What God places in your life will carry purpose, and that purpose will require commitment, focus, and continued faith. You are not stepping into something temporary, but into something that has the potential to impact not only your life, but the lives of others as well. As everything begins to come together, you will see that nothing was accidental. Every step, every delay, every redirection was leading you toward this point. What once felt uncertain will now feel intentional. What once felt scattered will now feel connected. And you will understand that what God has prepared is not only for you, but perfectly suited to who you have become and who you are still growing into.